We all knew that the PlayStation 5 has been in the works for a little bit by Sony. The PlayStation 4 is nearing the end of its life. However, I don't think anyone was really expecting a massive info drop today, but thanks to Peter Rubin over at Wired, we have an exclusive drop on what to expect from Sony's next generation PlayStation. They got a lot of information about the PlayStation 5, and I want to go over everything. A lot of interesting information was also revealed, like the fact that Sony has been working on it for the last 4 years, ever since 2015, and that would actually be ahead of the PlayStation 4 Pro's release. At least going back to 2015, that's when they started thinking about what was going to be in the PlayStation 5, and now we have an idea of what we're gonna get in terms of hardware. I'll leave a link to the entire article from Wired in the description box down below if you guys want an in-depth look. But right away in the beginning, he did note that the video game console that Sony has spent the past 4 years building is no mere upgrade. You'd have good reason for thinking otherwise. Sony and Microsoft both extended the current console generation via a mid-cycle refresh, that obviously being the Xbox One X as well as the PlayStation 4 Pro. Mark Cerny said, quote, "is whether the console adds another layer to the sorts of experience you already have access to, or if it allows for fundamental changes in what a game can be." Now, in the case of the PlayStation 4 Pro, that was obviously the former. In the case of the PlayStation 5, it will obviously be the latter. This is a substantial generation leap, unlike the PS4 Pro, unlike the Xbox One X, and the Xbox One X was a more of a sizable upgrade, but nonetheless, this will be a true generational leap, and I do want to go over the system specifications that we have access to right now. The article specifically notes a true generational shift tends to include a few fundamental adjustments. A console CPU and GPU become more powerful, able to deliver previously unattainable graphical fidelity and visual effects. System memory increases in size and speed, and game files grow to match, which has been something I've been really bummed out by. I think I could do without north of 100 gigabyte games, but I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And of course, this is requiring larger downloads, longer installs, and us being a little bit more finicky with which games we leave installed, because games being so big, we do have to rearrange, delete, re-download games, whatever the case may be. Even though we're getting bigger hard drives and whatnot, the games are so freaking big now that sometimes that's not even accommodating it. But nonetheless, PlayStation's next generation console, the PlayStation 5, that's not officially named, we're just going by next generation console. But it's gonna start with an AMD chip at the heart of everything. The CPU is based on the 3rd generation of AMD's Ryzen line and contains 8 cores of the company's new 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture. Ryzen has been one of the more compelling CPUs on the PC side of things. From a budget standpoint, it has provided incredible performance for your dollar, and what you see out of the Ryzen CPUs from the PC is incredible quad or 8-core CPUs at an incredible budget as well. So I think going the Ryzen route as far as the CPU is concerned is the best decision, especially if you want to keep the budget in mind, and of course you're not trying to price people out either, so that makes a lot of sense. As far as the GPU is concerned, that's what's had a lot of mystery. The GPU is supposed to be a custom variant of Radeon's Navi family, and it will support ray tracing, a technique that models the travel of light to simulate complex interactions in 3D environments. While ray tracing is a staple of Hollywood visual effects and is beginning to worm its way into $10,000 high-end processors, no game console has been able to manage it yet. Now, the thing is, ray tracing is being implemented in some of the higher-end GPUs these days. I point to you GPUs like the RTX 2060, 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti. Even still, those GPUs have a very hard time of getting ray tracing working at a compelling state. If you're playing games at 4K, good luck with ray tracing, especially some of the higher end games. Battlefield 5, in the case with that game, even the higher end GPUs had to be knocked down to 1080p to get it running at a playable state with ray tracing on, and even then you're talking, 30 to 45 frames per second with a lot of the GPUs that aren't as powerful as, say, the 2080 Ti. And when you're looking at the 2080 Ti, that's like, what, a $600-700 GPU? Obviously, getting ray tracing working in a $400 or $500 box, that would be quite impressive. I'm not completely sold on that, but we shall see. And I said $400 or $500, but the reality is they really should be aiming for that $400 price point, because we saw what that did for the PlayStation 4. The PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One were released around the same time, and yes, there were a lot of reasons why the PlayStation 4 stormed ahead. However, I think one of those biggest reasons is because the PS4 released at $400, Xbox One, yes, while it came with Kinect, it was a whopping $500, and I do believe that held it back quite a bit, but that's just input from me. Now, as far as ray tracing is concerned, it is quite visually pleasing, but this is coming directly from Sony themselves, so the fact that they're going for ray tracing, that just makes me a little bit concerned about how high-end this is going to be, what this is going to be priced at, but nonetheless, that does get me very excited. And again, ray trace games do look pretty incredible, so I'm excited for that. So of course, visually, it's going to be a gigantic leap, and the AMD chip also includes a custom unit for 3D audio that Cerny thinks will redefine what sound can do in a video game. He said this, quote, "As a gamer, it's been a little bit of a frustration that audio did not change too much between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. With the next console, the dream is to show how dramatically different the audio experience can be when we apply significant amounts of hardware horsepower to it." So what you're seeing is they're really working on a lot of the presentation elements. Visuals, they want to get ray tracing in there. They want to make audio a big element of the PlayStation 5. The result, Mark Cerny says, will make you feel more immersed in the game as sounds come at you from above, from behind, and from the side. While the effect will require no external hardware, it will work through TV speakers and visual surround sound. He did mention that the gold standard will actually be headphone audio. And obviously, speaking on virtual reality, when he mentioned that, the writer asked him about PlayStation VR, the peripheral system that has sold more than 4 million units since its 2016 release. And when talking about next-gen PSVR, Cerny said this, quote, "I won't go into details of our VR strategy today beyond saying that VR is very important to us and that the current PSVR headset is compatible with the new console." Yes! That is awesome, because I know a lot of you guys have been worried about that. You dropped your $250, or like me, you bought it at launch and you dropped your $500. Your PSVR headset will be compatible with the next generation console. However, this begs the question, is there going to be a new headset? Is there going to be certain games that are compatible with one headset and not the other? I think at the end of the day, the one improvement to VR we all want is a wireless PSVR headset, and that would sell me on getting another headset. But nonetheless, he didn't go into it too much. So from a CPU and GPU side of things, they're looking for unprecedented audio and presentation delivery from a visual standpoint. That looks pretty compelling, but I think that was to be expected. What about some other changes? Now, games are getting larger and larger. Red Dead Redemption 2 is specifically mentioned, clocked in at 99 gigabytes on the PlayStation 4. Loading screens can last minutes as well, while the game pulls everything it needs from the hard drive. And back in the fall of 2015, Mark Cerny first began talking to developers about what they'd want from the next generation, and he'd heard it time and time again. Quote, "I know it's impossible, but can we have an SSD? Solid-state drives have been available in budget laptops, and they're available readily cheap if you are building your own PC. Xbox One and PS4 offer external SSDs that claim to improve load times, but not all SSDs are created equal." And as Cerny pointed out, quote, "I have an SSD in my laptop, and when I want to change from Excel to Word, I can wait 15 seconds. So now the idea is to implement an SSD into the next generation platform, and Cerny actually demonstrated this to Wired. Cerny fired up the PS4 Pro playing Spider-Man, and it took that 15 seconds to transition between different zones, and then he did the same thing on a next-gen dev kit connected to a different TV. The dev kit was noted to be an early low-speed version. What took 15 seconds on the PlayStation 4 Pro now took less than 1 second, 0.8 seconds to be exact. That's just one consequence of an SSD. There's also a variety of different other things that an SSD will benefit, but he did note, no matter how powered up you get as Spider-Man, you can never go any faster than this, because that's simply how fast we can get the data off of the hard drive. However, with the next-gen console with an SSD, that time will be shortened by so much, and it was also noted while the next-gen console will support 8K graphics, TVs that deliver it are few and far between, so we're using a 4K TV for the demonstration. Now, this is everything that Cerny wanted to go into. He's not ready to talk about games, features, and everything of that sort. We're still a long ways away from the release of the PlayStation 5. Chances are it'll be holiday 2020, no time in 2019, and a lot of question has been made whether PlayStation 4 games will make the transition to the PlayStation 5. He didn't go into that either, but this is a very interesting time, and for those of you that were thinking that the PlayStation 5 isn't coming in 2020, maybe some of you were thinking it was a 2021 product. I know a lot of you guys are satisfied with the PS4, and you will remain to be satisfied for the next year and a half or so, but expect the PlayStation 5 talks to really ramp up now. No E3 press conference this year from Sony, unfortunately, but now this begs the question, what does Xbox have up their sleeves, and what is going to be the future of gaming in the next year and a half? It's a very exciting time, and we will keep you guys posted. It was also noted that the next generation console would have backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4 games, and that would be expected considering they tested Marvel's Spider-Man on the PlayStation 5 dev kit. So I'm just coming to that conclusion about PlayStation 4 games being playable on the PlayStation 5. I think that is a formality. That would be one of the biggest blunders in PlayStation history if that didn't happen, but we shall see if that extends beyond PlayStation 4 games, and if it does go to PlayStation 3 games. I think that's ultimately what people want, and it looks to also support physical media. So for those of you worried about everything going digital, it looks like at least for the next generation, physical media will still be a part of our lives. So that's pretty exciting, especially for me. I always go over these physical game deals and whatnot, and you guys seem to like them too. I know there's a subsect of you that prefer your games digitally, but there's definitely a portion of you guys that want your physical media, and that will be available next generation. But that's everything I wanted to go over today. So in rundown, an 8-core AMD Ryzen based on 7nm Zen 2, a gigantically improved Radeon Navi-based GPU. It has ray tracing, supports 8K resolution. That's gonna conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you interested? What do you think the pricing is gonna be? I'm a little bit concerned with that ray tracing talk. I'm thinking we're looking at $500 or upwards, but I think they've learned from the PS4 and $400 is really the price to shoot for. But nonetheless, that's gonna conclude this one. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.